Howdy y'all. So on this one we're just going to take a minute here to show you the quick install of the ceiling trim, and this is the front bedroom, or going to be in my office. Yeah, we get this done real quick because you've seen a lot of that, so I just tried to give the highlights of it, but it took me most of a day to do this, and maybe 4 hours actually, not too long because it's a smaller room. And we'll give you an explanation here coming up. After the explanation, we go through some other drywall finishing, but not the actual videoing of it because I think I've shown you guys enough of that. And then we do the in-wall heater. If you want to go straight to the in-wall heater, it starts at 12 minutes. And I actually talk and work at the same time because I'm not listening to music. So anyway, hope you enjoy it, and we'll go from here. All right, this is where we stop, just right here in the hallway. I'll get these later on. There's be one little piece in there against the wall. We'll work on that one. It won't fit like a standard piece. I'll have to trim one down. It might look a little funky in there, being brown all the way out to there, but we'll worry about that when the time comes. But yeah, just went down the hall here and got those done. And then we come into the bedroom here. And we got her done here. You know, these angles are kind of funky, but they're doing all right. Might just put a little stain on there to hide it in there. Same with on the end cap of this one here. And then this is where you can really tell how this room isn't, or the room's fairly square, but this wall for the shower, definitely not square. I measured it up when I did the bottom, there to there and there to there, supposed to be the same, but I don't know if there was a twist up as it went up, who knows. But obviously not the best framing in there, but oh well. She's just an old single wide. So, but there it is. And we'll start stacking everything from the middle bedroom here. We'll take all that out of there, put it in here so that we can do the drywall in there. All right. There we go. All right, we did it. Took a day and a half. We got everything out of this room and crammed into the front room. So all the trim work and drywall mudding is now covered up with garbage. I mean, my stuff, sorry. Most of it was from that middle bedroom here, but took all my books out of my my bedroom closet so I can finally put my clothes back in there, or hanging clothes anyway. Shoved most of my stuff into this corner here. Moved this stack of flooring many a times. So hopefully the next time I move it is to put it into place. And this is all underlayment. Not the best shape, but it's good high quality underlayment. So we'll see if there's like a tape that puts it all together and whatnot. But yeah, and then we'll come into this room here. We got everything out except for the stuff I'm going to use to work on it. Yeah, it'll be nice. Tiny room, but we'll get the mudding and sanding in here done. Hopefully it won't take a month like the front bathroom and bedroom and hall there. So my guess is maybe 2 weeks. So yeah, we'll get to work on that. And then, then we'll just have to do the window casings and trim and floor trim and flooring, and then put some shelving in this, or at least a hanging rod in this closet. And at some point, I'll probably put a bed. Well, I'm going to put a bed in here for now. I have a queen, but it's going to take up most of the room. Probably get a double at some point. Or the ideal thing is to build this wall into a Murphy bed and entertainment thing or whatever. Not really entertainment, but shelving, and then a Murphy bed. And then I got an outlet here because I'll put a TV there. So when you're laying in bed, you can watch TV. And then I got the wiring in here for a heater that's going to go in wall right here. I just have to cut the wires down in there. I just have to cut this open. Maybe I'll wait until I do all the finishing and then carve it out. I have the marking down here on the floor under this dust to where, the 2x4 right there. And then so I'll know to go up and cut a hole in there somewhere. So anyway, we'll get to first thing is covering the screw pops or screw indents and then put some hot mud in these corners here that are pretty wide, so we'll have to shove a lot of goo in there, so we'll get the hot mud so it stiffens up fast and doesn't shrink much. So put some corner beads here and there, there, you know, taping, all that good stuff. So we'll get to getting on with that. All right, and just like that, a few weeks later for me, we got this room done for this stage. Got all the drywall mudding done and primered it. Still got to paint it at some point. And then we went and did all the ceiling trim up in here. In the master bedroom closet, I have drywall in the ceiling and that in the closet, but here I just decided to put that up there because I hadn't finished it yet. And then this piece, the grain was like this, so it was running this way. So I took that piece out and cut another piece when I did that inner section there. So that worked out pretty good. All the drywall looks nice and smooth. No major flaws that I could see. And it's funny because I'm probably going to do a built-in Murphy bed here with some shelving on each side. So I'm like, why did I finish this side? You know, when it's just going to be covered, but who knows? Maybe I won't. So at least it's done. And I'd say the only spot that was bad with the finishing of the mudding was right here. I didn't sand it well enough when I did it, and obviously we have some paint spill, but maybe I'll fill that in. But it is just a closet, so if you got a dresser in here and all that stuff or whatnot, not a big deal. Yeah, I think it did and come out pretty well. All right, so we got one more biohazard containment bubble going on here. We're coming on the end run of the drywall finishing. The bump out there, kitchen, living room, and the front bedroom's up there. Coming back in here to the hallway to the master bedroom and the laundry nook. So last night I put the tape up here, mudded in some tape here and here. I think this one was already there. This one was already here and up here. And since I just recently put in this little door jamb here, just put some tapes up there on both sides. I'm missing one corner bead here, which I guess I'll get that tomorrow, and one here, and then I have to do some drywalling back in the bathroom, but I think we're just going to finish it up to this point for now, and then worry about the bathroom some decades from now when I get to that. But yeah, just want to get the finished mudding coats on. We'll put the first layer of finish coats on the tape seams, let that dry, sand it, see how level it is, and then put the top coats on. And over here behind the washer and dryer, the stuff that's behind here, maybe about this level and lower, I'll just sand it and primer it, maybe do a little bit of a finish coat, like one trowel width wide, and then up above here will be all finished coats, because this is going to be blocked behind the washer and dryer for most of its life, so we don't have to get too fancy there. Yeah, it'd be nice, and hopefully these plastics stay up and the dogs don't run through them and get dust everywhere in the house. And then specifically in my bedroom where all my clothes are hanging in the closet now, so we don't want too much dust on those. Someday we'll cut this open to put a door in there, but we'll get the finished layers on here first. And then as far as drywall finishing, just a little bit in the front bedroom, bathroom, where I'm going to make a little encasement so the exhaust fan can flow out the side of the house. And then up here, like I said, I'll probably finish this. I have to put a piece of drywall here and then configure a little wall that comes up here all the way back and then up. And I have to get the exhaust fan going out the side of the wall here. And then we'll probably put a little, maybe just a little encasement there. So finish that drywall. But again, we won't worry about that until I do shower section here. So anyway, there we are. And we'll get to work on that. Or this. All right, there we go. Got it all sanded down. Everything's pretty smooth and flat, so that's nice. Haven't primered it yet. You can see the difference where it stopped and didn't start, or where it's not primered and primered from previous work. And it is a little rough there. It was hard to sand because I had the plastic taped right there, so I'll have to sand this out. I'll just keep a vacuum held right here as I sand at some point. So it is pretty flat where the seams were right there, so that's good. And yeah, I just didn't feel like primering it right now because it kind of makes the house stinky when I primer it. And when I did the front end, I just covered up with plastic so the rest of the house didn't smell. But right here, it's gonna be smelling up my bedroom when I'm trying to sleep, and I don't like that. So I don't know. We'll wait till it warms up a little bit so I can open the windows when I do it. But here is where I didn't do any because the washer and dryer will be there. And so any parts that's going to be close to being exposed, we did. So not bad. This is wet still, and this is wet still because they weren't perfect. So I just did them and then, use a straight edge to smooth it out. So I don't think I really have to sand much or anything, maybe just on the edges. So we'll do that later, not worry about it. Had a couple spots that I had to touch up, which that's not even that big of a deal because I think the washer sticks out farther than that anyway. But yeah, nice to have this done. So we're about 95 or about 90% done on all the drywall finishing, which is great. Just have to do this bathroom, this wall, that wall around, put some more drywall up around the toilet. But yeah, we got this wall done a while back, so that is good to get most, at least part of this bathroom done already. And then we just have a few sections to finish up in the front bathroom when I do some encasing for the exhaust for the fan, which I think I mentioned previously. But yeah, nice to have most of this done, and we'll put some trim pieces up here and whatnot. And then obviously framing some doors, cut out a door. But it feels nice to not see bare drywall anymore in most of this house. So yeah, buddy, and we'll continue on. All right, removed a bunch of the excess insulation here so we can get this box in here. And we've got the wire coming down here, so we'll knock out this top and knock out. We'll feed the wire through here. We're going to cut a bunch of this off for sure. We'll get this mounted first. I say bring it off a 1/2 inch from the studs for the drywall, but the drywall is already on, so it's kind of there. You got 2 holes for some screws here. I think it's actually touching the back wall, so it can't go any farther back. Got a ground wire here. We'll attach it to these wires. We'll snip some off. And we'll spin it around. That's good and tight. On these directions, it's pretty straightforward. Black is current hot wire and the white is neutral, just like it is in the wires that come to it. I think the other units I get, the Cadets, I think they're like the opposite. It's really confusing on the instructions from that one. This one Hey, it looks like this was made in Seattle, Washington, my hometown area. So I wonder what year this was, because I'd be shocked if they're still manufacturing heaters in America. Anyway, yeah, this is the 120 volt, so make sure you got this one. Don't hook it up to a 240. Alright. Quit your whining, dog. My girl. Need a little safety, or the connecting screw up here. Just take it out. Put this back in the slots there on the bottom. Screw this back in the top here. There it is, simple as that. And we'll hook up the wire on top. I'm gonna get a thermostat, and this just goes here. It's barely there, covering that. I think we'll be good. Just gotta find some screws for there. Probably originally came with some screws that were proper for here and have white tips on them. But I just grabbed what I could find. My boxes of goodies. And I think this will work. There we go, and it just covers the top here, so that's good. Clean it up with some paint, a couple little dings here we'll patch up. But yeah, you can see the upper models, this is just the good version. Probably the better version has a manual thermostat here, but we're gonna have one controlling at the top, so didn't need this one, so we'll work on that. All right. Now we got over a month later, we got this room full of stuff, but I thought I'd at least finish the install here. I grabbed a Honeywell thermostat. The heater's king. I don't think it matters, brand names for these kind of things. I think it's all kind of universal because it's a pretty basic concept. It's got a little sensor for temperatures, and so it either turns on or turns off. So I think it doesn't matter much in that regard. At least on the manual ones. Maybe when you get into the electronic ones these days, you might have to pair up similar companies, but who knows. We're not that fancy in these parts. So anyway, I'm just going to hook this bad boy up. Pretty simple. You have the power coming in and the power going out. And we'll have to figure out which is which. And then, thankfully, I marked here, power in and out. So this goes down to the heater. This comes in from the main breaker. I'm pretty sure 99.9% positive. I don't have this hooked up to my breaker box. I don't think I have an outlet for it yet. So just checking it here with my Tesman voltage meter, and I get nothing, so that's good. And we'll strip this and hook it up. Alright, yeah, so this is the kind of stuff that gets me second guessing, or like if it was white wire and black wire it makes sense, but we have white and red. But from what I learned, and you can see here, the red wire is going to be constantly powered, so if you're in a 220, 240 or whatever volt situation, one side of your heater is going to constantly be getting power, and then the switch breaks this side. So with the 120 volts, you'll want to put the white wires on the red, because that's just a return wire in the loop, and the black wire is going to be hot wire, so it can be switched off and on with the thermostat. So again, we'll put red on white and black on black. So we'll hook that up. And again, the top one is the in power, which we have stripped. So we'll do that side These are frayed and the other one's solid, so I'm just going to twist this one around first so we don't get all messed up when twisting them on here. And I kind of like to do starting a wrap with the frayed side around the solid wire. Don't know if that helps or not, but we'll see how it works. Alright, and we'll go to the red one. So that's the ingoing. And now we'll strip the outgoing. And these are the powers going out to the heater. And then we'll connect the two ground wires together. Red's a little big for these gauges, but it's not too bad for doing them if you twist it enough, I believe. But what do I know? I'm no electrician, so don't pay attention to me. So right now it's off, and you can hear it clicking around the 70-degree mark, and I'd say it's about that temperature in here right now, so seems about right. So that's when it'll start feeding power down to the fan. We don't have we got my old power panel still in the back, so I don't have this electric hooked up yet. So you're just gonna have to go with the trust me bro that it actually works, but it should. So we'll get an update on that once I switch out my panel. But for now, if you're just watching to see my current updates and to know how to set this thing up, that's how it works. And yeah, so we'll call it good. Whoops, thought I was done. Had to take it apart because I forgot to put this cap on the back here. And it just goes kind of, this is the gap where, there's a gap in between here to delineate between on and off power. This one's constant on this side. So anyway, this just goes back in there. There's little holes to line up, and it's just a cap so nothing can touch it and ground it out or make it feed power when you're not supposed to. So anyway, everything looks good. Check my connections again. Everything looks good. Stuff this back in there. Alright, that about wraps this one up. And on the next episode, I show you guys the install of most of my flooring. So stay tuned for that, and we'll catch you on the next one. Take care, y'all.